One of the biggest questions I've had during this pandemic is that when we begin to open up our churches, will we be opening them to closed hearts? Christos Sanvia. Orthodox churches are opening up all over the world, which is a really great sign. Now, granted, it's in a very limited way, right? Some churches are just opening their doors so people, the faithful, could come and circulate through for private and individual prayer. Others are opening it up to services where they're having a very limited number of faithful be able to come and participate. So pastors are trying to circulate and find ways in which they can integrate people who are hungry to come back to church, who aren't at high risk, and are able to do so in such a safe manner. And so this is a really good sign. This is something that I feel really good about, just in the sense that we went from having nothing to now we're able to at least have our church doors open, and we're able to offer that bit of paradise to everybody. So this is something that I find to be very effective and very appealing. One of the biggest questions is that when we're able to return, when we're able to come back to church, is what condition will we be returning to the church to? Now, before all of this happened, before the shutdowns, before the pandemic, one of the greatest, per se, temptations and one of the biggest problems and challenges in the spiritual life is we can easily get too comfortable in our lives. Church is something that's important to us. We love God, we love the hymns, we love the Eucharist, we love all these things. But then sometimes we start taking it for granted. Sometimes it's what we do as a hobby and off to the side, as opposed to being the very center of our life. And I think some of the greatest comments I've had during this time is for people who have actually just admitted that. Is this whole time, the last couple months that they've been away from the church and haven't been able to receive communion, they've mentioned the fact that they just always assumed they'd be able to go next time. If they didn't feel like going on a Sunday, next Sunday. Or Father has services during the week, I could just do that if I need to. Or same thing with communion. I won't go this Sunday, maybe I'll have my cup of coffee this morning, and then just next liturgy I'll go. Become very kind of comfortable and passive within our approach to Christ and the church, because it's just there, and we'll do it when we have time and when we're ready. And so the big question remains now that after all of this, after everything that took place, we missed majority of Great Lent, we missed Holy Week, Pascha, Bright Week, and now we're just starting to return to the remaining hours of Pascha. And how will we react? What is the condition of our soul? And have we learned anything, or have we grown through this time and through these last couple months? Now, this is a big question, because we've had 2 months. We've had something that's been taken away from us that is so important to us and vital to our lives. And we've all admitted, we miss it. We miss church. We all miss church. No one could ever deny that. We miss the Eucharist, we miss the services, we miss being around people, maybe even our priests. But mainly, when we have this opportunity to return, is there any sign of growth? Or is the return again just kind of at our convenience? Are there still other things that are going to prohibit us from returning? And I'm not talking about health and high risk situations, right? That's going to take a while to ease back into. No one's denying that. But I'm talking about that at every point, we're going to be hitting a stage where we're starting to return to daily activities, whether it's returning back to work, shopping more. As all of the local authorities start to relieve some of these measures as they see fit, we're all going to start integrating some way into some kind of habit or return to our norm. And what will that look like for us on a spiritual level? Is it just something that we're going to take for granted? And when we're offered opportunities to come back to the church, are there still going to be other things that we're putting before that? Whether it be work or other responsibilities, or perhaps just our own laziness because the time isn't perfect for us or doesn't work for us. And that's the thing we have to look at, and that's the thing that we have to consider as we're returning. Have we grown? Our hearts are thirsting for God, and our lips are proclaiming that, but will our actions now follow? Will that now be put in place in action in which we draw closer to God? It's no doubt that this has all affected us in one way or another. But the question that we have to ask ourselves is, have we learned anything? This could be a time where, in the past couple of months, we've been deprived from coming to church, from the sacraments, from seeing one another, from praying together. In a time in which we realize how important and valuable these things are, how crucial and vital they are to our spiritual development, and how much we need them, how much we need to be in our churches, and growing in that kind of peace and stability and comfort that it gives us. Or will we have learned nothing? And it was just 2 months in which we were stuffed away in our closets, and we come out and go back to business as usual. Church is something when I have time for. I've been deprived of all these other things. I got to attend to those things, or I miss doing those things, and church will still be there. That's the great question we have left. And the only way we'll truly know how we answer that is by our actions as we start to develop and return back to normal life.